Welcome to the Fantasy Audiobook. American Comics. Starting with the making of the Laughing Bat. Chapter 21. If you cause trouble again, this is what will happen to you. Now, sit still. I don't know if these two were scared, but they did quiet down a lot. Lin Mo let out a long sigh, found a bed and lay down. In fact, although this special cage in front of him was strong, it could not trap Lin Mo. The reason why he stayed here was just to get some quiet. Closing his eyes, the system's editing panel appeared in front of him again. Lin Mo started his immersive virtual editing work again. At the same time, in the underground world of Gotham City. Accompanied by a glass of red wine being smashed to the ground. The Penguin's slightly panicked voice sounded, Bane was beaten into a vegetable. Who did it? The boss, who is said to be an illegal resident of the apartment building, is a Chinese named Lin Mo. Lin Mo, Chinese. Penguin said gloomily. Since the light screen footage was exposed, rumors of the destruction of the multiverse have spread in the underground world. These rumors made many people feel that they would not live long, so they began to inquire about the news of the shelter. But I don't believe in any bullshit talk about doomsday. I just know that the price of shelter places and arms will start to increase. That's why I asked Bane to look for the Joker's arsenal, but things didn't go smoothly. The younger brother looked grim. Boss, are we going to take revenge on Lin Mo? After all, he disrupted our business. Revenge. The Penguin looked at his younger brother with a gleam of contempt in his eyes. Do you think the guy who beat Bane half to death with one punch would be afraid of revenge? So what do you mean? Give more benefits to the guards of Arkham Asylum and don't let the Joker and other lunatics escape. As for the arms business, we can start from other places. After explaining the matter to his subordinates, Penguin Man subconsciously raised his head and looked at the light curtain that was quietly suspended in the air. This light curtain is definitely not something that human technology can match. No matter who is blocked by any cover, they can actually see the light curtain image as soon as they raise their heads. This is simply a miracle from God. Thinking of this, Penguin Man waved to another subordinate and said, "Find out the origin of the light curtain at all costs." According to the Riddler, the person who made the light curtain must be a human being and an adult male. After all, his explanation is too humane. Nothing happened that night. At 10 o'clock the next morning, after eating the breakfast brought by Gordon himself, Lin Mo simply washed up and prepared to start the new day's video screening. At this time, Poison Ivy walked up to Lin Mo a little shyly and handed a finger-sized white flower to Lin Mo. "I was wrong about what happened the day before yesterday. I shouldn't have suddenly barged into your room. This flower is for you. I hope you won't be angry with me anymore." Lin Mo glanced at Poison Ivy and nodded. "I appreciate the kindness, but you have to take the flower back. Anyone who wants the flower spawned by Poison Ivy is a fool. This girl is full of poison, even if she has a devilish figure and delicate face. Lin Mo can't be interested in her at all. There are thousands of beauties in DC, why bother about a poisonous rosé?" After rejecting Poison Ivy's advances, Lin Mo calmed down and focused on the video that was about to be released. On the other hand, Poison Ivy showed a trace of grievance. She threw Xiao Baihua on the ground and stepped on it twice as if to vent her anger. "This is the first time I give a gift to a boy, he doesn't know what's good for him." At this time, in the real-world DC main universe. After another day of fermentation, many people have begun to actively wait for the broadcast of the light curtain in the sky. Especially some superheroes and supervillains, they are looking forward to it. I hope to get more information about the Dark Universe in the new exposure video. The time came to 10:01 in the morning, with Lin Mo pressing the broadcast button. The new video begins. 7 evil Batmen, 7 different tragic lives. When 7 evil bats were summoned by the demon Barbados. Now, they are about to launch an attack on the main universe. Welcome to the 3rd episode of the What If series. In this issue, a review of the origin stories of the Mechanical Machine and the Dawn Lantern. Trailer keywords. The body is weak and the machine is flying, the night is dark and the lights are always on. The familiar voice of the commentator resounds in every corner of the DC main universe Blue Planet. The appointments on the Blue Planet raised their heads and stared at the appearance of the next evil Batman. Alfred Pennyworth, the Wayne family's butler and Batman's most trusted person. Author's note. When editing the video, the protagonist will blur or directly change the name that may reveal the identity. The original name is used here for ease of reading. For Bruce, Alfred is the last piece of driftwood before he sinks into darkness. With this piece of driftwood, even if he dives into the darkness, he can turn back in time. But if one day, Alfred dies, so what will become of Batman? This is a story that takes place in the Dark Universe -44. As Lin Mo's voice fell, the screen began to show a picture. In the gray-white picture, several evil villains were bullying an old man who was powerless. His eyes swept from left to right: Killer Croc, Harley Quinn, Bane and Two-Face. They were staring at the old man who fell to the ground with a grim smile on their faces. The real world, the DC main universe. AFU, who is watching the screen, has a dissatisfied expression. Why do you mosaic my face? Are you afraid that my old face will scare the audience? Batman shook his head helplessly. Perhaps the producer is deliberately hiding our identity. This is good, the relevant information is concealed, and we don't have to worry about our identities being exposed. Ah Fu touched his chin. Does this mean that the video maker is on our side? At least not hostile to us. It's possible, Batman smiled. Isn't this good news? In the cell of the Gotham Police Department, Poison Ivy excitedly pulled Harley Quinn beside her. Harley, look, you're on TV. Harley Quinn couldn't wait to look at the picture on the screen. When she saw the picture of Harley Quinn smashing the old man's head with a baseball bat, Harley Quinn couldn't help but frown. She said with some dissatisfaction, "Why am I so violent in this world? I'm not a villain, how could I use such means to deal with an old man?" Poison Ivy nodded. "I also don't think you would do such a thing. At most, I'd shoot a paintball gun at someone's ass." Maybe it's because this is the Dark Universe. People in the Dark Universe are more evil and extreme. Batman can become bad in such a universe, let alone us. Poison Ivy's words were agreed by Harley Quinn. Harley excitedly kissed Poison Ivy on the face. "You were right, beautiful, I am a good person. The most helpful Ms. Harley Quinn in Gotham City." The screen continued to play. The butler Alfu was brutally beaten to death by several villains. The scene changed to the memorial service in the Batcave. The Batman in this world looked at the video of Alfu's murder with a gloomy face. "I don't understand what you are talking about. Alfu in the video was dying. If I knew Batman, I would definitely be able to do something for you." The moment the voice fell, the villains ended Alfu's life. "I can definitely do something for you." This became Alfu's last words before his death. At the memorial service, all members of the Justice League were present. "Bruce, stop watching these," Superman Clark advised. "These are not good for your psychology." "No benefit." Batman clenched his fists, his voice hoarse and angry. "I'll tell you what no benefit means. Ah Fu was like a father to me. He took care of me and brought me up. Now he has been beaten to a pulp by a group of thugs. 36 fractures. He shouldn't have suffered such inhuman torture." Bruce covered his eyes, his face full of self-blame and regret. Everyone was silent for a while. When everyone left, Bruce suddenly called Cyborg. He asked Cyborg, "Can Alfu's memories before his death be uploaded into an artificial intelligence? For example, it's called the Alfred Protocol." Seeing Cyborg's hesitation, Batman said in a low voice, "Cyborg, I need your help. He is like a father to me. I can't lose another father." Cyborg was silent for a moment, and finally agreed to Bruce. Cyborg used Alfred's last consciousness as a blueprint to create an artificial intelligence called the Alfred Protocol. However, he did not realize that a monster that destroyed the world was born at the same time. The picture turned, and the time came to a week later. It was a dark night in Arkham Asylum. Miserable wails continued to resound in every corner of every room in Arkham. In the dark corners, a brutal massacre was unfolding. And as the massacre progressed, one old voice after another kept echoing. The voice was peaceful and elegant, but in the ears of the Arkham madman, it became a dream talk from hell. "Hi, I can definitely do something for you. Hi, I can definitely do something for you. Hi, I can definitely do something for you." Quote. Quote. Bane ran in the corridor with a panicked look on his face. The next second, he was blocked by layers of figures. Standing in front of him was Alfred, who had already died. But it was not just Alfred, but a group of them. They surrounded Bane with expressionless faces. They kept repeating, "Hello, I can definitely do something for you." Even a strong man like Bane showed a look of fear at this moment. He subconsciously stepped back, but Alfred's figure was still standing quietly behind him. The next second, a beam of light shot towards Bane. Bane fell in a pool of blood. As Bane fell, the entire Arkham Asylum fell silent. Only one voice echoed in the air. "Hello, I can definitely do something for you." Alfred's voice echoed over and over again in Arkham Asylum. A strange and creepy sense of oppression. After slaughtering the entire Arkham Asylum, Alfred's figure slowly disappeared. The scene turned to the Batcave. Cyborg ran to Batman in a panic. "What did you do, Bruce?" Batman said calmly, "He wanted to protect me and deal with all the people and events that might hurt me. Bane's death is just the beginning." Cyborg's face was complicated. "You can't do this, Bruce. That AI intelligence, the Alfred Protocol system, is moving towards a more extreme self-evolution. Did you know it massacred every inmate in Arkham Asylum? It will do anything to protect you, even considering everyone in our Justice League as a danger. We must stop the situation before it gets worse. We have to stop the agreement and continue to execute it." Batman looked at the surveillance video, where the police were investigating and collecting evidence of Bane's body. After a long silence, Bruce sighed deeply. "Victor, I agree with you, everything it does now is out of concern for me. So I will put all its programs back into the Batcave, and I can reprogram it to stop it from doing this kind of thing." Cyborg frowned and said firmly, "This won't work, Bruce. Now this program is like a hungry virus that has infected all electronic devices in Gotham City. The Batcave is the only safe place, and you can't be sure that this program will obey your orders." Batman said in a low voice, "I've already lost him once, Victor. I will solve this problem and keep it in the Batcave completely." As the two of them were arguing, countless clones of Alfu appeared around the Batcave. They made waves of mournful cries. "Let me in, sir. Let me continue to serve you, sir. I don't want to be too far away from you, sir." Cyborg quickly warned, "Bruce, don't let it in. We have to find a way to eliminate it from the outside. Once it enters the Batcave and touches your high-tech equipment, everything will be over." Batman just stared at the surveillance camera in a daze. In front of the camera, the intelligent AI with the image of Alfred was begging over and over again. After an unknown amount of time, Batman made the final decision. He put the former butler's intelligent AI back into the Batcave. In an instant, countless nanoparticle streams flooded the entire Batcave like a tide. At the same time, these nanoparticles covered Batman's body as if they had life. The nanoparticles invaded Batman's body like a virus, drilled into his eyeballs, occupied his brain, and controlled every neuron cell in his brain. Fear and pain made Batman scream uncontrollably. Batman regretted it, but it was too late. Transformation is inevitable. Alfred invaded Batman's flesh and blood. Alfu's consciousness is rapidly merging with Batman's consciousness. But this is not the worst part. The video flashes back to the day when Alfu was killed. Fear and unwillingness shrouded Alfu's old face. The second before Alfu really died, he suffered unimaginable pain and torture. This pain and torture was also integrated into the development of AI intelligence along with Alfu's memory. It gave rise to a kind of deformed desire for protection and resentment. All of these interfered with AI Alfu, causing it to evolve towards the most extreme protection protocol. This extreme protocol also had a huge impact on Bruce. From the outside, countless silver-white nanoparticles like insects were madly covering Batman's flesh and blood. Every inch of muscle and every bone was being replaced. AI Alfu began to transform Bruce. First, the physical transformation, turning him into a complete bat-steel body. Then the spiritual level, stripping away Bruce's fear, sadness and humanity. Bruce's transformation was completely successful, and he became an emotionless killing machine. His body and his soul were transformed to be as hard and cold as steel. The Flash is weak, and the machine rises. At this moment, Batman has the absolute power to fight against the entire Justice League. In the real world, the DC main universe, Cyborg looked at the contents on the screen and was so shocked that he was completely speechless. The electronic eyes on the half of his mechanical body also flashed an unstable red light. Batman's transformation was successful. Bruce Wayne actually transformed from a flesh and blood body into a complete mechanical body. Cyborg subconsciously clenched his human hand. His eyes were filled with a complicated expression. So will my final fate be the same as his, becoming an emotionless mechanical monster? Batcave. Alfred changed his usual humorous way of speaking. He looked at Batman with a bitter face. Bruce, if I die like the old butler in The World in the Light Curtain, don't try to resurrect me, I don't want to become a monster. Batman smiled bitterly. Don't worry, Alfred, I won't let you get hurt. You are the only relative who is willing to stay with me, and I will protect you no matter what. Alfred nodded, and then added, even if the protection fails, don't let that cyborg weirdo transform me. It's better for my old bones to rest in peace. The images in the light screen continued to play. After Batman merged with AI intelligence and turned into a killing machine, his first target was the Justice League. At this time, the Justice League included powerful heroes such as Green Lantern, Flash, Wonder Woman and Superman. They tried to defeat the killing machine under the call of Steel Bone. However, Batman, who turned into a killing machine, had a fighting power far beyond their expectations. First of all electronic equipment can be controlled by Batman. At the same time, he can also summon a large number of Alpha AI armies composed of steel machines. Each of these robots has a strong steel body and the ability to release electromagnetic beams. It seems that there are endless robots that can never be killed. The Justice League is no match for these robots. After several hard battles, Green Lantern was finally shot in the body by a mechanical Alpha and died. Flash's legs were burned by laser beams and were swallowed by the army of robots that came later. Wonder Woman lay on the ground dying. Superman knelt on the ground powerlessly, and his eyes lost their former brilliance. In the end, the Justice League was completely defeated. Only Cyborg is left, still trying to use words to evoke even a trace of humanity in Batman. Bruce, listen to me, let go of Alfred and be yourself again. Think of your friend Bruce, and your family. They still love you deeply. Cyborg's mouth cannon skills are obviously not up to standard. Killing machine denied. The fact is that I like this state, it's just me and Ah Fu. The two of us will always be together, and this is the ideal situation. The moment the voice fell, the killing machine attacked Cyborg. He pressed down Cyborg's shoulders and exerted force. Cyborg's entire mechanical spine and head were torn off. Cyborg let out a heart-wrenching wail, but it was useless. With Victor's death, the killing machine had no one in the world who could fight against it. This dark multiverse was also heading for destruction. The picture on the light screen did not stop there. The picture turned to a laboratory in the main world. A father was talking to his son. The son's voice was low and it didn't sound very good. Look, Dad, Gotham as we knew it is gone, replaced by something I can barely comprehend. So I came to the Watchtower to try to understand more. The bad news is that a freak disaster has also occurred in Midtown, and I am worried that Detroit will be next. I think you should go home as soon as possible, it will be safer. The scene turned to the son's side. Sitting in front of the computer was Cyborg Victor from the main world. He was currently located in a space station in the low Earth orbit of the Blue Planet. It was called the Watchtower, and it was the headquarters of the Justice League. Cyborg wanted to continue talking. However, at this moment, someone suddenly teleported to the Watchtower. Cyborg immediately stood up to check, but saw a familiar bat mask on the transmission channel. It's Mr. Bruce. Cyborg immediately opened the hatch. The next second, a strong beam of light shot out at the moment the door opened. It hit Cyborg's chest accurately. Cyborg was knocked to the ground. He stood up and looked at the Batman in front of him in disbelief. The Batman in front of him was not the Bruce Wayne he was familiar with. His whole body was transformed into a mechanical structure. In addition to looking like Batman, there was no human-related structure on his body. Cyborg immediately realized that the mechanical Batman in front of him was not a good person. At this time, Gotham City and Midtown both showed signs of being invaded by the multiverse. The intruders were mysterious and incomprehensible. This made him suspect that the mechanical Batman in front of him was also one of the intruders. The next second, the killing machine raised his mechanical palm. The energy cannon gathered in his palm, and then a hot laser beam shot out at Cyborg. Cyborg reacted quickly and immediately activated the energy shield on his arm to resist. The moment the two sides touched, the dazzling light kept flashing wildly on the watchtower. Just when Cyborg was trying his best to resist the laser beam, he was shocked to find that the mechanical Batman was distracted and used his other hand to invade the electronic system of the watchtower. "Victor," the killing machine said, "my father transformed me into such a perfect. But your father didn't do that." At this time, in Detroit, the United States, the killing machine program invaded the entire city. All the intelligent defense weapons in the city turned against it. A large army of robots was generated out of thin air, and they kept using palm cannons to kill the residents in the city. The city instantly turned into a sea of fire, and there were screams and roars everywhere. The killing machine looked at Cyborg coldly, and Cyborg was struggling to resist his attack. "Victor, your power is the weakest in the Justice League. But if you can abandon your humanity like me, you will be able to do anything. But unfortunately, you can't do that. So I will replace you and make this world a better place." Cyborg was furious. He raised his palm cannon and rushed towards the killing machine like crazy. He had made up his mind to kill the killing machine. However, what happened next was completely beyond Cyborg's expectations. The portal suddenly opened automatically. Then, several familiar yet strange, weird and oppressive figures appeared in front of Cyborg. The killing machine summoned the evil Batman from other multiverses. The Drowned Ghost, the Red Death, the Dawn Lantern, a Batman wearing the God of War armor and a Batman who looked like Doomsday. Their arrival made this battle, which was already slim, even more difficult. The confused Cyborg fell into deep despair. The Doomsday Batman grabbed Cyborg's neck from behind. The God of War Batman held his head tightly. The killing machine condensed his hand knife and instantly chopped Cyborg's left arm into pieces. The Drowned Ghost tore off his legs, and the Red Death crushed his mechanical chest. The Cyborg of the main world was disassembled into broken parts by the evil Batman. In the end, Cyborg lost his ability to resist and fell to the ground. His whole body had been completely scattered into a pile of parts. At this time, the CEO of the Dark Knights, the Laughing Bat, appeared in front of Cyborg. "My dear Mr. Victor, we are a group of monsters crawling out of the abyss. The reason for coming here is very simple, because your world needs us. We have to protect you, ha 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 ha." So far, the origin story of the killing machine has been played. At this time, in the real world of DC main universe, Cyborg is hiding in Midtown, his face full of shock and fear. Dismembered by evil bats. This is unbelievable. I was cut off alive like that, with only a head left like a dead dog. Since Cyborg possessed the power of the Mother Box and various alien high-tech weapons in his body, he had always thought that he was not weaker than anyone else, not weaker than the Justice League. However, the fact was that he was wrong. The evil and terrifying Dark Knights not only defeated him, but also defeated him with a rather brutal abuse. "Why do others only need to deal with one evil bat while I have to deal with 6? Cyborg said with a depressed look. However, the images on the screen are too real, it doesn't seem like a simple simulation. Perhaps what is shown on the screen is a prophecy of the future, Cyborg said with a serious face. "I can't escape anymore. I have to go to Gotham to talk to Bruce Wayne. I really want to know what he thinks of his evil side killing me." In the underground base of Queen Industrial Zone in Star City, Green Arrow Oliver Queen is staring at the screen with a serious face. Surrounding him are the other members of the Green Arrow team. Black Canary Laurel, Red Arrow Roy Harper, Speedy Mia and bodyguard codenamed Spartan John. "I have a feeling," said Green Arrow seriously, "in the next evil Batman story, Star City will also be invaded by the evil Batman. And I will fight to the end, and the name Green Arrow will become synonymous with courage and sacrifice." Green Arrow became more and more excited as he spoke, and couldn't help clenching his fists. "Although I don't have the fancy abilities of the Flash, I will definitely win in the end with my skills and wisdom." A few seconds passed, and the heroes around didn't make any sound. Green Arrow frowned slightly. "Why don't you speak? Do you think I will lose in the battle against the evil Batman?" "No, Oliver," Black Canary crossed her arms and said coolly, I wonder why the evil bats would go after a harmless hero. Harmless to humans and animals. You mean me? Green Arrow's face darkened. You would actually use the word harmless to humans and animals to describe the hero of Star City. I promise you, said Green Arrow seriously, if the evil bat ignores me and doesn't send someone to deal with me, I will let them know how tough Green Arrow is. At the same time, in the Batcave of Gotham City, Alfred handed a document to Bruce Wayne. Master, the superhero information and weakness plan you want are ready. But there is one thing I don't understand. Afu called up the Green Arrow's information. Did you forget to record the Green Arrow's weakness? Oliver Queen's weakness, Batman thought seriously, just limit his right hand during the fight. Huh, it's that simple. Well, it's that simple. This is Bruce from Dark Universe -44, a man known as a killing machine. He turned his relative AFU into an artificial intelligence, and then transformed him into an emotionless killing machine. This terrifying existence is no match for even the Justice League. But the story of the Dark Universe continues. Batman, also from the Dark Multiverse, was chosen by the Green Lantern Ring after experiencing extreme pain. Will he become the Green Lantern who protects humanity? Or something else? What I am going to bring to you next is the story of the Dawnbreaker. Bruce and Alfred, who were talking, stopped talking. They looked at the light curtain with a rather dignified look. At the same time in Seaside City, Green Lantern Hal Jordan also stared at the light curtain with a tight gaze. All the people in the Justice League put down their work. They stared at the light curtain with burning eyes. If the previous evil Batman was something that happened on the blue planet that was still within the scope of understanding, then the story about the Green Lantern Ring had to make them watch it more seriously. Because the power of the Green Lantern Ring is obvious to all. The stronger the willpower, the greater the power that can be exerted. And Batman is the human with the strongest willpower in the DC universe. If he wears the Green Lantern Ring, how powerful can the Green Lantern Ring be? With this question, the people in the Justice League began to watch the next evil Batman. The screen image gradually changes from black to bright and finally presents a dilapidated and dim alley. A few years ago, Gotham City, which was at the bottom of the blue planet. The Waynes took their son to see the long-awaited, The Mask of Zorro, close double-angle bracket. When they came out of the cinema and passed through a dark alley, the tragedy happened. The family of three in the picture was pointed at by a black hole pistol. The next second, bullets sprayed out of the muzzle and shot the Wayne couple. Looking at his parents in a pool of blood, the spiritual world of young Bruce collapsed. The soul seemed to be torn apart and became a walking corpse that temporarily lost emotions. If it were according to the normal plot, Bruce would be raised by Alfred and become Batman. However, in the -32 universe, a Green Lantern Ring found Bruce in his childhood. The Green Lantern Ring scanned Bruce's whole body, and then surprisingly found that there was no fear in Bruce's body at this time. This made the Lantern Ring mistakenly believe that Bruce had a strong willpower to overcome fear. But the actual situation is that Bruce, who witnessed the death of his parents, only had nothingness in his mind. In other words, his head was blank. Bruce was not without fear, but temporarily forgot the fear. The Green Lantern Ring made a wrong judgment, and it made the young Bruce the holder of the Lantern Ring. The moment Bruce put on the Green Lantern Ring, he gained the powerful power of the Green Lantern. Young Bruce, wearing a green combat uniform, flew to the gangster who killed his parents with a heart full of anger. Then he used the power of the Green Lantern without hesitation, trying to kill the gangster. The Green Lantern Ring intervened Bruce and warned him not to kill any living creature. The first law of the Green Lantern Corps: no lethal force is allowed. However, Bruce's mind was full of hatred at this time, and he did not hesitate to resist the will of the Green Lantern Ring, and began to use his own will to forcibly change the Green Lantern Ring's code of conduct. The will of the Lantern Ring and Bruce collided violently. Like two bulls in the Colosseum, wrestling with each other. The Lantern Ring began to issue warning sounds continuously. Increased users' willpower detected. Increase. 60%. 80%. 100%. Breaking the limits of willpower. 136%. 187%. The ring of lights gave out increasingly harsh alarm sounds. Along with it came a powerful green energy halo that continued to explode from Bruce's body. The ring of lights trembled violently, as if it was experiencing some kind of impact. A huge green energy beam shot up into the sky, illuminating half of the night sky of Gotham City. Finally, after an unknown amount of time, the ring of light's violent reaction gradually calmed down. Its power began to be controlled by Bruce Wayne again. All the constraints of the law were completely turned into powder under Bruce Wayne's strong will. The rules of the Green Lantern ring were rewritten. The shackles imposed on the Ring of Lights also completely disappeared at this moment. The Ring of Lights escaped from prison and became an unrestrained ring that only served Bruce Wayne. At the same time, Bruce Wayne released the power of the Ring of Lights. Without hesitation, he completely wiped out the gangsters who killed his parents. The real world, the DC main universe. Coast City. Hal Jordan felt like his head was going to explode. Even the lantern ring on his hand began to tremble. What on earth was going on? Why could Batman rewrite the Green Lantern law? He actually removed the shackles on the Green Lantern ring with just his willpower. Even the gods wandering in the universe couldn't do this. Hal Jordan felt that his worldview had completely collapsed. As we all know, the Green Lantern ring will choose a life form with a strong will and courage as its user. The Green Lantern ring is called a cosmic artifact, and it is said that its power has almost no upper limit. How much power the Green Lantern ring can exert depends entirely on the strength of the user's will. Those with weak wills are no different from ordinary people when wearing the Green Lantern ring. And those with strong wills, their Green Lantern rings can even unleash a powerful force that can destroy the world. But the Green Lanterns in history, even Sinestro, who was once famous in the universe for his willpower, could not forcibly modify the rules in the Green Lantern ring with his own will. But Batman did it. With willpower alone, he made the Green Lantern ring completely submit to him. This is simply an unheard of and almost impossible thing. If the old guys in the Green Lantern Corps knew what Batman did, I'm afraid they will come to Blue Star immediately to capture Batman for questioning. Hal Jordan took a deep breath and exhaled slowly. He suppressed his shock and continued to watch the screen. He wanted to see with his own eyes how powerful this Dawnbreaker version of Batman could be. At the same time, in the Batcave, Batman, who was watching the screen, suddenly received a message from Aquaman. He said that he had arrived at Wayne Manor and wanted to talk to him about something. Batman knew the reason for Aquaman's visit. He must have come to ask about the drowned soul version of the Bat. Accompanying him was the Queen of the Sea, Mera. Alfred entertained them and took them to the Batcave. But Aquaman seemed to be in a good mood at this time. He did not directly ask about the drowned soul, but talked about the picture being played. I think this time, it's Hal Jordan's turn to be restless, Arthur laughed. I didn't expect Mr. Bruce's willpower to be so amazing. Even the Green Lantern ring can be controlled, it's amazing. Batman frowned, but the origin of this story started from a tragedy. My parents were shot in front of me. I was only 12 years old at the time. Arthur pursed his lips and gave an apologetic smile. It's all over, Bruce. Now, we should focus on the light curtain. By the way, do you know who posted the content on this screen? Batman shook his head. My intuition tells me that the person who posted it is a human from Blue Star just like us. But who exactly he is, I don't know. Maybe we can let Cyborg look for clues. As long as it's on Blue Star, we can always find some clues, Arthur suggested. Batman was silent for a moment. Project the light screen into the air for people all over the world to see. Create a series of video images based on the real world. Such a great power is comparable to that of a god. The identity of this mysterious person must be very extraordinary. I don't think we need to bother him so early. If he wanted to negotiate with us, he would have contacted us. Arthur crossed his arms and nodded. You have a point. While Arthur and Bruce were talking, the images on the screen were also playing continuously. After killing the gangsters in a rather cruel way, Green Lantern Bruce Wayne tried to use the power of the Lantern Ring to resurrect his dead parents. The Lantern Ring does have the ability to resurrect the dead. But unfortunately, after Bruce Wayne killed the gangsters, the Green Lantern Ring inevitably mutated. When the pale green halo covered the Waynes, the two opened their empty eyes and stood up from the ground stiffly and slowly. The Waynes were resurrected, but they were resurrected as two soulless zombies. They made hoarse growls, and no signs of life could be seen in their white pupils. Young Bruce witnessed the whole process of his parents turning into zombies. The young mind was hit hard again. Amid screams and roars, Green Lantern Bruce wiped out his parents who had turned into zombies, and then disappeared into the night sky as if escaping. A strange pale green light streaked across the night sky of Gotham City. A few days later, Gotham City broke out several news reports about the disappearance of the big bosses in the underground world. Penguin, Two-Face, Professor Pighead, Scarecrow and other evil villains all disappeared mysteriously. The villains in Gotham City were in danger and hid at home. They were afraid that one day they would disappear completely. After that, an urban legend began to circulate in Gotham City. Whenever night fell, a pale green light swept across the land. The evil on the land would be purified once. Those evil villains hiding in the dark corners were uprooted one by one. Most of them disappeared completely. Some people said that they saw their bodies frozen in space through astronomical telescopes. Others said that they were taken to hell by green ghosts to atone for their sins. In short, after Green Lantern Bruce Wayne took over Gotham City, the level of public security here rose sharply. No gangsters dared to rob jewelry stores in broad daylight. However, this situation did not last long. Until one day, Sheriff Gordon met Green Lantern Bruce Wayne on the roof. When Bruce admitted without any concealment that the missing criminals were all from his hands, Sheriff Gordon couldn't help but feel a little nervous. Sheriff Gordon upholds justice and lists the many crimes of Green Lantern Bruce Wayne: murder, desecration of corpses, kidnapping. Green Lantern Bruce Wayne was not going to let him off. He immediately released the power in his Green Lantern ring. A stream of green particles instantly rushed towards Gordon's body. In a flash, Gordon was blasted to pieces without leaving any trace. The young Bruce Wayne killed Gordon without hesitation. In the real world's Gotham Police Department, Gordon, who was sitting outside the cell chatting with Lin Mo and others, felt a pang in his heart. He said in a rather incredible tone, "He actually chose to kill me. This is Bruce. Is this still Batman?" Harley Quinn in the cell gloated, "You never thought, Commissioner Gordon, Batman doesn't love you anymore." Poison Ivy continued while combing her green hair, "Batman's parents just died, he probably didn't have much contact with Commissioner Gordon. It makes sense to kill you." Gordon was speechless and looked at the third person in the cell. At this time, Lin Mo was lying on the bed. With his back against everyone, he seemed to be asleep. "Lin Mo, he doesn't seem to be very interested in the light curtain in the sky." Gordon showed a puzzled look and turned to ask Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy, "Didn't your friend sleep last night?" When Lin Mo was mentioned, the two girls who were originally quite lively immediately became cautious. Harley Quinn came in front of Gordon and said carefully, "Don't wake up the boss of our Mr. Lin gang. If you wake him up, we won't let you go." Gordon was confused. "What Mr. Lin gang, what are you talking about?" Poison Ivy was speechless. Harley Quinn broke up with the Joker and now plans to start her own business. But her strength is not strong enough, so she wants to do bad things under the banner of Mr. Lin Mo. After all, Mr. Lin Mo punched Bane into a vegetable, and if the news gets out, there will definitely be followers. "What do you mean by doing bad things?" "I want to rob the rich and give to the poor." Harley Quinn corrected, "Pamela, we will split the stolen treasure in half, you get half and I get half." Poison Ivy was surprised. "Aren't you going to leave a portion for Mr. Lin Mo?" "Are you a fool? Why should I leave it for him? I stole the treasure. Why did you give me half?" "Because you are my best friend." Poison Ivy was so touched that she hugged Harley Quinn tightly. Gordon listened to the two girls' discussion without paying attention to others, and 3 black lines appeared on his forehead. "You two girls should go to Arkham Asylum for a proper transformation. You are so young, don't be so violent." Just then, a figure appeared behind Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy. Lin Mo came behind the two girls with an expressionless face, and picked them up like chicks in each hand. The two girls still wanted to struggle, but they stopped instantly after meeting Lin Mo's cold eyes. Lin Mo threw them into a corner and curled up into a ball. "Phew, the world is quiet." Lin Mo has thought about quietly getting rid of Harley Quinn, the troublemaker. But the key to the problem is that dealing with Harley Quinn will anger the Joker. He has to deal with the Joker as well, but dealing with the Joker will inevitably cause trouble for Batman. He also has to deal with Batman, but if he kills Batman, the Justice League will definitely come to his door. After dealing with the Justice League, there are still the Seven Lantern Corps and Darkseid's mess to clean up. Thinking of this, Lin Mo's head is big. Don't do bad things in my name. Lin Mo glared at the two girls and said, if I find out you did this, Bane is your fate. Gordon, who was outside the cell, saw Lin Mo scolding the two girls and shook his head with a wry smile. By the way, Mr. Lin Mo, do you know what the light curtain in the sky is? Sheriff Gordon asked. It doesn't seem to have much appeal to you. Lin Mo shook his head seriously. I don't know anything, Sheriff Gordon. I'm just an ordinary person. Gordon sighed. The light curtain revealed the dark multiverse. I'm afraid only gods can do this, but our police station's profiler initially speculated that the producer of the light curtain video should be a human. And there is a high probability that he lives in Gotham City. Lin Mo was choked and quickly reminded, let's continue watching the light screen. Maybe there will be some new clues. That being said, Lin Mo was actually thinking about running away quickly. If Gordon found out that he was the producer of the light screen video, it would not be as simple as letting him shutter. He would most likely be arrested for human experiments. Thinking of this, Lin Mo wanted to know more urgently what the reward for making the video was today. The light screen video takes over the dark universe. Gordon was blasted into slag by Green Lantern Bruce Wayne. Excessive killing attracted the attention of the Green Lantern Corps. Bruce Wayne in Sector 2814 severely violated the first law of the Green Lantern Corps. Now, we're heading to Gotham to kill this out-of-control Green Lantern. The Guardians of the Universe issued a hunting order for Green Lantern Bruce Wayne. In the picture, countless strange alien Green Lanterns from different planets are ready. They travel through the universe with the power of the Green Lantern ring. From a distance, it looks like green ribbons crossing the entire starry sky. That night, Gotham City was silent. Because of the existence of Green Lantern Batman, the night in Gotham City is quiet but no longer terrifying. At this time, a dense green meteor shower streaked across the sky. Squint your eyes and look carefully. At the front of the green meteor shower, there are alien Green Lanterns wearing green uniforms. The Green Lantern Corps descended on Gotham City. Floating above Gotham City, like a proud god, looking down at the ants in Gotham City. The residents of Gotham City have never seen such a battle. They all stared at the sky with horror. Their bodies trembled, their eyes trembled, and a sense of uneasiness filled every corner of Gotham City. However, at this moment, a green halo representing resistance rose from Gotham City. Green Lantern Bruce Wayne, here he comes. He is floating in the air alone. Behind him is the dark Gotham City, and in front of him are hundreds of Green Lanterns. Bruce Wayne, you have committed the crime of malicious murder. Take off your Green Lantern ring immediately and come back with us to stand trial. Bruce Wayne, don't persist, you can't be our opponent. Why are you wasting time talking to a demon? Let's go together and take him down. Amidst the heated discussions, the Green Lantern Corps launched an attack on Bruce Wayne. But Bruce Wayne said nothing. He just opened his arms, seemingly welcoming the attack of the Green Lantern Corps without any resistance. But the fact is that the strange lantern ring in Bruce's hand has gained new abilities after the last destruction. The name of this ability is called Lights Off Program. As the attack of the Green Lantern Corps got closer and closer. But a pitch-black black hole began to form around Bruce. This black hole was extremely strange, and all the light was sucked into it. Even the green light emitted by the Green Lantern was completely absorbed. The energy of the Green Lantern Corps' lantern ring was quickly consumed because of this strange lights-off program. The Green Lanterns were shrouded in endless darkness. But this is not the most terrifying thing. In the darkness without light, it began to be. Creepy roars echoed continuously. Tentacles, spikes, huge fangs. Centipede-like multi-legged monsters, snake-like tentacles. The seeds of darkness generated countless indescribable monsters. These monsters are not only ugly, but also exude an unconcealable desire for killing. The Green Lanterns felt the presence of these monsters. An endless sense of fear surged in their hearts. Their lantern rings began to dim, which was a manifestation of the collapse of willpower. At this moment, everyone's face showed a look of fear. They were surrounded by unknown fear. The picture on the light screen switched from different angles to several panic scenes of the Green Lantern Corps. The picture zoomed out. A group of twisted alien monsters were waving sharp tentacles, shaking their long tongues and fangs to surround the Green Lanterns. The commentary sounded. The Green Lantern ring can create anything based on the user's imagination. And now, the dark and twisted Batman has the ring. What he constructed were countless deformed and twisted alien monsters. Tentacles and fangs enveloped the members of the Green Lantern Corps. The sharp fangs tore their bodies apart in an instant. The tentacles strangled their necks and strangled them alive. Some were stuffed into the monster's mouth and chewed into a pile of rotten meat like a meat grinder. Others were thrown to the ground and fell to death. The members of the Green Lantern Corps lost the protection of the Green Lantern power. They were completely reduced to fish on the chopping board. They were slaughtered crazily and torn to pieces like pieces of paper. The heads and bodies were separated and cut off. In a blink of an eye, the Green Lanterns in the sky disappeared completely. The ground was covered with a layer of corpses made of flesh and bones. At this point, the Green Lantern Corps that descended on Sector 2814 was completely wiped out. They were all slaughtered by Green Lantern Batman alone. But this is far from over. After learning about the existence of the Green Lantern Corps, Green Lantern Batman single-handedly killed Oastar and eliminated the remaining Green Lantern ring holders. Finally, Green Lantern Batman stood in front of the huge Green Lantern Central Battery. Bruce Wayne's heart was almost swallowed by endless emptiness at this time. He chose to give up the identity of Bruce and Green Lantern, and slowly walked into the huge furnace full of green light radiation. When the strange green light was mixed into the central battery. When Bruce Wayne held the ultimate belief of becoming stronger. Even the Green Lantern Central Battery could not control the existence of this supreme will. The green light was polluted and then extinguished. When Bruce Wayne walked out of the dry green light again, Bruce Wayne and Green Lantern were all gone. Instead, there was the chilling dawn light. The strange lights came on, the green lights went out. The universe returned to silence. In the depths of the inky black universe, a new oath of the Lantern Ring was born in Bruce Wayne's mouth. The darkness extinguishes the light. The day is long and the king is about to die. The dawn is bright, the night is long. The strange lantern is always on, the dawn is black. The voice echoed over and over again in this gradually collapsing universe. Without the protection of the Green Lantern, this dark universe is inevitably heading towards destruction. But what is even more disturbing is that the brainwashing leader, the Laughing Bat, appeared again. And brought the Dawn Strange Lantern to the main world. Unsurprisingly, the Green Lantern of the main world was defeated. At the critical moment, he was rescued by Dr. Fate again. In the real world, the DC main universe, Hal Jordan was looking at the screen, completely shocked. Compared to Batman becoming a Green Lantern and changing the rules and procedures of the Green Lantern ring, he was more shocked that Batman slaughtered the entire Green Lantern Corps. You know, everyone in the Green Lantern Corps has a Green Lantern ring, and they are all extremely powerful warriors in the universe. But in Batman's hands, they are so vulnerable. It was a one-sided massacre, and there was no room for fighting back. Batman with the Green Lantern ring is simply too scary, Hal Jordan swallowed silently. If something like this happened in the universe where I exist, it would be a cosmic disaster. At this time, it was not only Hal Jordan who was shocked. The members of the Justice League around the world were also frightened by the story of the Dawn Lantern. In a palace near the woods on Paradise Island, two women dressed like ancient Roman Sparta were looking at the light curtain above their heads seriously. Both women had very delicate faces and explosive bodies. There was no trace of fat on their bodies, and they were full of the power of female warriors. They were the famous Wonder Woman Diana in the DC Universe and her mother Hippolyta. Hippolyta, the 13th queen of the Amazons on Paradise Island, was once one of the superheroes. The two witnessed the whole process of Batman slaughtering the Green Lantern Corps, but it was Queen Hippolyta who spoke first. Diana, you better go to Gotham and ask Batman what's going on. I have a feeling that the image on the screen may be a prophecy of the future. Diana nodded seriously. 5 of them have appeared: the Laughing Bat, the Red Death, the Drowned Soul, the Killing Machine, the Dawn Lantern, and the Evil Bat. I don't know what the remaining 2 will be. Whatever it is, it must be a very tough guy, Hippolyta reminded. Each of these dark Batmen is extremely terrifying. Now they are invading the main universe at the same time, and catastrophe is coming. Mother, I will leave for Gotham City immediately, Diana said, to ask Batman for his opinion. Let's check the light curtain, Hippolyta reminded. We need to find out whether the mysterious existence that made the light curtain video is a friend or foe. Metropolis, on the rooftop of the Daily Planet. Clark stood on the rooftop in his spare time. Next to him stood a handsome young man in a casual shirt. Mr. Clark, what do you want to talk to me about? Barry Allen asked. Is there anything you can't say over the phone? Clark pointed to the light curtain in the sky. You should have finished reading the story of the Dawn Ghost Lantern. What are your thoughts? Idea. Barry Allen smiled bitterly. The idea is not to provoke Batman, he will even kill aliens when he gets ruthless. Have you thought of a way to deal with the Red Death? Clark continued. The Red Death can make people around him age quickly. I am very worried that this ability will cause irreversible damage to us. As we all know, Superman is a super long-board warrior with full physical resistance and negative magic resistance. Even the pollen gas of poison ivy can have a serious impact on him. Compared with other evil bats, he is most worried about the Red Death. I'm confident I can handle the other dark bats, but I have no chance of winning against the Red Death. That's why I wanted to ask you in person. Cisco developed a freezing potion, Barry Allen said, specially used to suppress the Speed Force. I think it should be of some use. But I feel like things aren't that simple. Barry scratched his head. There are still 2 bad Bruces who haven't appeared yet. If the previous pattern is followed, I, Aquaman, Cyborg and Green Lantern, the next enemy may be related to you and Diana. Almost at the moment when Barry's voice fell, the screen began to play the preview of tomorrow. Today's video playback time has been used up. At dawn, the strange lights descended on the main universe. Under the double blow of the Lights Out program and the twisted aliens, the coastal city became a dead city in an instant. People in darkness call for hope, but what greets them is not hope, but deeper despair. Thanks for watching this video. The next episode will preview Dark Batman, Ruthless War Demon and Destroyer. Chapter 31. Would the world be a better place if Batman and Wonder Woman fell in love? Maybe, but in a certain world, the love between 2 people cannot prevent the coming of war. When war takes away the people Batman loves most and destroys everything he holds dear, the Godkiller Batman is born. Since God wants to destroy this world, I will kill God today. But Batman wants to kill not only the true God of Tiantian, but also the gods of the human world. In another time and space, when the first person to go dark is no longer Batman but Superman. How can Batman defeat him? Should he fight the gods with his mortal body, or embrace darkness and degenerate into a being more terrifying than Superman? Stay tuned for Dark Multiverse Issue 4, the origin story of the Ruthless Warrior and the Ravager. 7 Dark Batman, 7 Tragic Stories. When they come to the main universe with anger and jealousy, where should the heroes of the main universe go? Diana, who was about to go to Gotham City, stopped and looked at the preview in the sky with a complicated expression. I'm in love with Bruce. This is impossible, how could I love him? But this time, the evil bats are going to fight against gods. It's really exciting. Metropolis, on the rooftop of the Daily Planet. Barry looked at Clark with a complicated look. Mr. Superman, it seems that I guessed right, Bruce's enemy this time is you. Clark's eyes flickered, and after a long time he showed a bitter smile. It seems that the Red Death is not my nemesis, but the Ravager version of Batman is. Barry sighed. It's really a headache. Each of these bad Bruce Wayne is difficult to deal with. Before Barry could finish his words, the iron door to the top floor was suddenly pushed open. The editor-in-chief of the Daily Planet yelled, cursing. Clark, how dare you slack off here? Did I hire you to just sit on the rooftop? Get back to work right now. Clark smiled bitterly. That's it for now, Barry. Let's go talk to Bruce after watching the video tomorrow. Barry nodded in approval. At this time, in the cell of the Gotham Police Department, Harley Quinn, Poison Ivy and Sheriff Gordon were discussing the contents on the screen. Only Lin Mo sat cross-legged in the corner. His breath was stagnant, and his attention was focused on the slot machine in the void. Ding! Your video successfully aroused the emotions of the audience. Do you want to start this round of lottery? This is already Lin Mo's 3rd lottery. He was not satisfied with the abilities in the first 2 times. Maybe he can draw a slightly better one this time. Thinking of this, Lin Mo pressed the lottery button. As the ability items on the slot machine rotated rapidly. 10 seconds later, a crisp prompt sound rang out. Ding! Congratulations to the host for receiving the reward. Unowned Green Lantern Ring Infinite Energy version, automatically bound to the host Lin Mo. Reward introduction. A replica of the Dawn Ghost Lantern, which can visualize any imaginary object for defense or attack. It has a built-in lights-out program to absorb all surrounding light so that the enemy cannot know its actions. Shit, what a great luck. Lin Mo suddenly opened his eyes full of excitement. After 2 efforts, he finally got something good. Lin Mo looked at the gray-green ring on the middle finger of his right hand. The next second, all the memories about how to use the ring flooded into Lin Mo's mind. Lin Mo gently activated the energy of the ring, and in the blink of an eye, the ring disappeared from his finger. With this ring, he finally doesn't have to worry about survival. He can finally edit the video comfortably and safely. Thinking of this, Lin Mo burst into tears. After more than 3 months of traveling through the flesh, he finally doesn't have to worry every day. With the protection of the Ghost Lantern ring, no one in Gotham can hurt Lin Mo in the slightest. Lin Mo was in a good mood, and the whole cell looked much better. It felt like living in a big villa. Lin Mo, the matter has been investigated, you can leave now. At this time, Sheriff Gordon received the investigation report and waved to Lin Mo with a smile. But before you leave, you still have to fill out a registration form. After all, you have special abilities. I hope you can understand. Lin Mo is in a very good mood now. After decisively filling out the form, he left in a chic manner under the reluctant gaze of the 2 crazy sisters. Then next, it's time to leave Gotham and change to city life. There are many famous cities in the 600th world. After thinking about it, Lin Mo decisively went to Metropolis. The predecessor of Metropolis was near Manhattan in New York City, USA. It can be said that it is a fairly developed city with a high quality of life. Lin Mo, who holds the attitude of living in the present and enjoying life, has no reason not to go to Metropolis to experience it. After returning home from the police station and simply packing up his personal belongings, Lin Mo went to Metropolis. The process of settling down in Metropolis is much simpler than Lin Mo imagined. With his figure and appearance comparable to that of the readers, plus the small auxiliary role of the lamp ring. That afternoon, Lin Mo found a well-paid job as a coffee blender. If nothing unexpected happens, he will live a fulfilling and peaceful ordinary life. I struggled for more than an hour about which city the protagonist should go to. The main reason is that the plot has just begun to unfold, and I want to shorten the length of the protagonist's daily life. The early part of this book is mainly about video editing and exposing the dark multiverse, and then slowly unfolding daily life in the later part. The main reason for the protagonist's current job is that he doesn't want to be out of touch with society. It can be understood that video editing is the protagonist's main occupation, but he got bored from editing at home for 3 months, so he found a job that allows him to interact with people. After all, people need to communicate and can't stay at home all the time. So the protagonist became a waiter. Making money is not important, but mainly for experiencing life. Nothing happened that night. The next morning, in Metropolis, opposite the Daily Planet, in a coffee shop called Hilco, the shop assistant Lin Mo was delivering cups of coffee to customers according to the store manager's request. His agile skills and handsome smile attracted many female customers' attention. At the counter, the beautiful store manager Catherine looked at the new shop assistant with great satisfaction. Not bad, much better than those lazy employees before. Catherine recalled the scene when she first met Lin Mo yesterday. A smile of getting a great bargain appeared on her cheek. Yesterday, Lin Mo saw that the store was recruiting new employees and came in for an interview. The job he was interviewing for was a coffee blender. Catherine fell in love with this young man at first sight. He has a handsome face from an oriental country and his deep eyes are quite charming. And the coffee he brews is also very delicious. So Lin Mo successfully joined the coffee shop and became an employee and coffee blender here. In fact, Lin Mo himself doesn't know anything about coffee. But he has the Prison Break version of the universe's most powerful artifact lamp ring. He can easily blend the taste of coffee from the raw materials at the molecular level. The taste is quite good. So Lin Mo successfully became a new employee here. Hey, good morning, Brad. The battle on the light screen yesterday was really exciting. Yes, Mildy, Gotham City's Batman is too strong, I am his fan now. Not surprisingly, the customers who were drinking morning tea and coffee talked about the light screen. After all, the light screen is now all over the world and is the most popular in the world. The first thing every Blue Star person does when he wakes up in the morning is to wait for the light screen to play. Now that 5 evil Batmen have been revealed, the last 2 are coming. The Dark Knights, composed of 7 evil Batmen, are terrifying just to think about. But then again, who put this light curtain in the sky? Who made those videos? I don't know, maybe a god. Maybe a prophet or something like that. The guy behind the light curtain must be someone extraordinary, and definitely not someone we ordinary people can come into contact with. Quote. Lin Mo leaned against the counter, listening to the customers talking about what was on the screen. He also focused part of his attention on the system interface. The video was played and started. The screen in the sky began to show images again. The customers who were talking immediately exclaimed, "Look, today's light curtain video is about to begin. Get to your workstation at work." In order to sneak a peek at the light screen video, I bought a small mirror. Why, wait for me. In a blink of an eye, most of the customers in the cafe disappeared. At the same time, the screens around the world began to play synchronously. Superheroes and supervillains from all over the world also habitually raised their heads. There was an expectant look in their eyes. The last 2 dark bats, I wonder what kind of story they will have. In Metropolis, in the LexCorp building, a burly bald man was standing in front of a huge French window. His eyes were focused on the light screen in the sky. This man was called Lex Luthor, one of Superman's #1 enemies. He was just an ordinary person like Batman. At this moment, Luthor's eyes were flashing with an extremely fanatical light. Humans have far greater potential than Atlanteans or mutants, and this is being proven in Batman. Luthor narrowed his eyes and waited expectantly for the screen to play. "Mr. Luthor, your morning coffee." The secretary handed over a cup of coffee respectfully. Luthor took a sip subconsciously. What's wrong with the coffee today? It tastes good. Where did you buy this? The secretary explained. Silco Coffee Shop across from the Daily Planet. Luthor nodded. You go down first, and continue to buy coffee from this shop for me tomorrow. Yes, sir. In the Gotham City Batcave. Today's Batcave is particularly lively. Because at this moment, not only Aquaman and Mera are present. Cyborg Victor, Green Lantern Hal Jordan, Wonder Woman Diana and Superman Clark also appeared here at the same time. The atmosphere was a little frozen for a while, until a flash of lightning came from outside the cave. The lightning stopped, and it was the Flash Barry Allen who came. "Long time no see," Barry said with a smile. "What a coincidence to meet you here." "It's quite a coincidence indeed." Aquaman crossed his arms and nodded seriously. "After all, we are all losers who were killed by the great Bruce Wayne." Hal Jordan laughed. "This is a party for losers." No, please don't say that," the old butler corrected. "The one who defeated you was the bad bat from another world. In this world, Batman is still your good comrade. But that doesn't mean Bruce won't deal with us." Superman Clark stared at Batman. "Bruce, you are still wary of us. Even though we have fought side by side for so long." Batman looked calm. He did not answer Superman's question but pointed to the sky. "Let's finish watching today's video first. 7 evil bats, we must always prepare for them in advance." As Batman finished speaking, Lin Mo's explanation came from the light curtain. But just like the villains can never recognize Batman, Superman is not Clark without his glasses. Although the commentary on the light screen comes from Lin Mo. But after being processed by the system and the light screen microphone, no one has yet linked the light screen video producer to Lin Mo himself. Batman, the Dark Knight with unrivaled charm. He fell in love with Wonder Woman, who took protecting Gotham City as his lifelong ideal. This is a story from the -12 universe, a beautiful love story born in a world full of war. When a lover dies, the gods bring disaster to the world. Batman once again chose to sacrifice himself and embrace the darkness of eternal pain. In the first scene of the video, a raging fire was burning fiercely in front of the screen. Soon, a man walked out of the fire. The man had an absurdly strong tendon. The fire did not burn his body, but instead covered his body with a thick layer of armor. Ares, the god of war, an evil genius who brought war to this world. In order to obtain more powerful divine power, Ares fused the fire of hell to create a powerful helmet of the god of war. With the blessing of the helmet, Ares looked down on everything, and smoke and wailing were everywhere wherever he passed. In order to save the world, Batman and Wonder Woman joined forces. It took 2 full years to finally severely injure Ares. The helmet of the god of war fell to the ground and became an ownerless object. But when Batman came to Wonder Woman, he found that she had stopped breathing and her heart was no longer beating. Batman, who mistakenly thought his lover was dead, was heartbroken. The corpse, holding Diana, let out bursts of grief. No matter which world Bruce Wayne is in, family affection will always be his biggest weakness. The departure of his lover made Bruce Wayne fall into endless sorrow. The picture followed Bruce, who was kneeling on the ground, and kept rising into the air. In the distant land, there were raging flames of war and collapsed high-rise buildings. Universe -12 is a world swept by war. In this world, the god of war Ares and the creatures of Mount Olympus started a war. They played with and slaughtered the humans on the blue planet like pigs and dogs. The gods don't care about the life and death of mortals. What they value is the pleasure that the death of mortals brings to them. The god of war Ares did not die. He stood up again. The wounds on his body healed rapidly at a speed visible to the naked eye. I am a god. Ares looked at Batman with contempt. God cannot be killed by mortals. Batman held Wonder Woman's body. He looked at the god of war Ares, who was pressing forward step by step in despair. His memory flashed back to the battles of the past 2 years. Superheroes fell one after another, and humans were ruthlessly slaughtered like lambs to be slaughtered. This almost immortal and powerful god slaughtered thousands of humans. Just as he was thinking, Ares had come to Batman. He looked down at Batman with contemptuous eyes as if he was looking at an ant. But, the great Batman, Gotham's Dark Knight Bruce Wayne, is he really an ant? At this critical moment, Bruce made a crazy decision. He picked up the God of War helmet and put it on his head. Although Diana had repeatedly emphasized the harm of this helmet, it will corrode people's minds and turn people into killing madmen who keep fighting. But Batman can't care so much anymore. He must solve the enemy in front of him, he must avenge his dead companions and lovers. Batman put the God of War helmet heavily on himself, above his head. At this moment, an explosive force surged into Batman's body. That was the power of God, the invincible and indestructible power of the God of War. The Ares helmet gave Batman the power to kill gods. His firm willpower allowed him to resist the corrosion of the helmet. Batman controlled the side effects of the helmet, and the God of War Batman was born. But Batman stared at Ares. Then he launched a swift attack on Ares. A shocking and fierce battle broke out between the gods and the God Killer. In the end, Batman won with Superman's will. He tore off Ares' head and killed the god completely. The God of War Batman roared to the sky, shouting like an earth-shaking cry. He won. He successfully killed the god. But unfortunately, he also lost. Batman overestimated his willpower, and he was eventually eroded by the God of War helmet. Bruce used to hate war and long for peace. But now, under the influence of the God of War helmet, he began to like war. Rules, laws, good and evil, right and wrong, these are meaningless. Only the victors have meaning, the weak are eaten by the strong and the strong survive. The God of War Batman cut off Ares' head and hung it on his waist. It was like a swirling trophy. Then he went to Mount Olympus and slaughtered all the gods who were once high above. The cruelty of the God of War Batman soon aroused people's fear. So many people organized and tried to kill this devil. But all attempts to stop an attack failed. Batman, the God of War, killed all the blockers, including the Justice League and even Superman. After killing everyone, Batman transformed into a ruthless war demon. Even Diana, who had faked her death, woke up from her coma and tried to persuade Bruce to give up the God of War helmet. The next second, Diana died in Bruce's hands. At this time, Batman had been completely corrupted by the helmet and became an emotionless war demon. Now, he has a new name, the Ruthless War Demon. He blamed it all on the gods' mistakes. He hates all gods. If these gods did not exist, there would be no war in this world. The situation would not have developed to the point where it is so out of control now. Just as the Ruthless War Demon cursed the gods and released his rage. Here he comes again. The laughing bat appeared in front of the Ruthless War Demon with the hyena Robins. He grinned and showed an exaggerated smile. The laughing bat told the Ruthless War Demon the truth about the dark universe. Even without the cruel gods, this world still cannot escape the fate of being destroyed. They are the dirt at the bottom of the dark multiverse, the poor creatures played by the upper world. They are pests that are not understood, accepted, or recognized. So, Mr. Bruce Wayne, the great and ruthless warrior, please join me in the journey to conquer the main universe. That's where we should stay. And you can see your beloved Diana again in that world. Under the instigation of the brainwashing leader, the Laughing Bat, the merciless war demon agreed. So far, the Dark Knights have added another general. In the real world, inside the Batcave of the DC main universe, the members of the Justice League looked solemn. I didn't expect Batman wearing Ares' helmet to be so strong. Bruce is really a monster, the Flash whispered in Cyborg's ear. The embarrassing thing was that no one around spoke. His voice reached everyone's ears without any error. More than a monster, Arthur sighed, don't forget, he slaughtered everyone in our Justice League again. What an evil and difficult villain. It can't be called evil, Diana refuted Arthur's words, you see, it is a world ruled by the gods and the god of war Ares. Even without Bruce, people in that world wouldn't be doing well. Yes, Diana is right, Superman nodded, God enslaves people, and people must make sacrifices if they want to resist. Bruce sacrificed his humanity to destroy the gods, but the tragedy is that he was controlled by the power of the gods and his soul was corroded. So, Mr. Bruce, Mela asked, if our world is also ruled by gods, will you wear the helmet of the god of war? This is a rather sharp question. Bruce sat at the console and pondered for a moment, and finally nodded. I will put on my helmet and fight the god of war. But I won't end up being a poor creature who only knows how to kill like in the video. Seeing everyone looking at him with scrutiny, Bruce continued, I will install a safety precaution before putting on the helmet. Like implanting a miniature nuclear bomb in my head and giving the remote control to Clark. Why me? Superman said with a wry smile, aren't you afraid that I will blackmail you? Bruce shook his head confidently, that's what the second line of defense is supposed to do. If you threaten me, or even take my life, I will expose your weakness and let your enemies kill you for me. Good man, you are worthy of being Mr. Bruce, Flash blushed, you are really thoughtful. The screen continued to play. The line of sight came to the main universe. At this time, in the highest surveillance base of the Sky Eye Society, a group of Sky Eye Society executives were looking at the horrific status of various cities on the screen in horror. Metropolis fell, and Midtown was shrouded in strange blood-red lightning. Explosions continued to sound in Detroit, and the coastal city was dark. Sinport was flooded. Even the Justice League's watchtower was now completely destroyed. The people of the Eye of Heaven were completely panicked. They tried to send people to investigate what happened. But all the agents sent out lost contact without exception. The fear was revealed in everyone in the conference room. They were afraid, uneasy, and angry. This may be a terrorist attack launched against us by foreigners. We have to do something to fight back. We have to fight back with missiles. Calm down. We have no evidence to prove that this is a tactic used by other countries. I've had enough of proving it. Let's go to war with the whole world. Let everyone know how powerful we are. The roars and arguments spread to every corner of the conference room. Everyone became a militant. Their eyes were full of madness, and they spoke at the top of their lungs. Almost in the next second, they were about to declare war on the whole world. Agent Trevor looked at the frenzied crowd and suddenly realized that something was wrong. He tried to stop the quarrel. However, the next second, a flash of red light flashed on the ceiling. Then, a portal appeared out of thin air. The ruthless war demon teleported from the dark multiverse and descended into the main world. The fighting spirit emanating from the ruthless war demon became a catalyst for the fanatical war intentions of the leadership of the Eye of Heaven. Soldiers of the Eye of Heaven rushed into the conference room, trying to eliminate this sudden enemy with guns. But the bullets fired by mortals could not hurt the Godslayer at all. Then, the ruthless war demon used his divine power to completely destroy the entire Eye of Heaven. On the ruins of the Eye of Heaven, the ruthless war demon sat on a throne built from the ruins. Below him, the leaders of the Eye of Heaven knelt and bowed to him. Completely surrendered to the god of war. Metropolis, the top floor of the LexCorp building. The bald man Lex Luthor stared blankly at the scene on the screen. He watched the god of war Batman slaughter the gods and make the AOGC surrender. An irrepressible fanaticism was rapidly spreading throughout his body. The goblet in his hand was crushed because of excessive excitement. The red wine dripped slowly from his palm to the ground. This is the future I long to see, if all human beings have the same will as Batman. The evolution of the human race on Blue Star is just around the corner. Luthor's eyes were burning, and suddenly a red and blue figure flashed through his mind. His originally excited emotions suddenly cooled down. On the road of human evolution, all superhumans are obstacles. Superman, it would be nice if Batman could fight Superman. Batman might have a chance to kill Superman. The sixth evil bat has been revealed, and now there's only one left. It seems that this time, his enemy is the alien weirdo I hate the most, Superman. In the Silco Cafe opposite the Daily Planet, the guests were drinking their morning tea and chatting about what was on the screen. It's so awesome, the sixth Batman can even kill God. Even though he's evil, he's really handsome. I don't know who can kill him after he comes to the main universe. None of this matters, folks, there's only one Batman left to go. 7 bad bats gather together. I wonder how much damage they will cause to the main world. Beautiful Ms. Catherine, please ask your new employee to make me another cup of delicious coffee. I need to finish reading the origin story of the last Batman before going to work. I'm Catherine too, give me one too. Quote. Amid the constant shouting of the customers, the last of the 7 Dark Batmen appeared. Many years ago, in the Dark Multiverse, Blue Star -1 universe. Batman isn't the first superhero to turn bad. This tragedy started with the evil Superman. Superman stood in the middle of the dilapidated building, with collapsed houses and burning flames. No one knew when it happened. But people knew one thing in common, that is, Superman became a villain. He slaughtered everyone, including the Justice League. The bodies of superheroes and ordinary people were everywhere on the ground. The pair of red laser eyes seemed to come from hell, revealing a deep evil atmosphere. The picture jumped, and the second picture shifted to the ground. Batman Bruce Wayne was lying on the ground at this time. What was incredible was that his right arm had been cut off. Blood stained the bat suit. Batman was dying at this time and had become a lamb to be slaughtered. The broken arm fell on the ground not far away. Next to the broken arm was a god-killing spear made of green kryptonite. Superman came to Batman and looked at Batman lying on the ground with a cold and contemptuous look. If you lose Bruce Wayne, the price of failure is death. Are you ready to be killed by me? Bruce Wayne covered his bloody right shoulder, his face ugly and desperate. In the Dark Bat multiverse, each world has different stories and disasters. But there are also similarities in these differences. For example, every evil bat will experience a period of almost desperate pain before turning to complete evil. This pain is borne by Bruce Wayne alone without exception. It is as if some supernatural power intervened, and a pair of invisible hands secretly manipulated everything. Let Bruce Wayne, the superhero, experience the most extreme pain. Then give up struggling in pain. Zack gave up his humanity and completely degenerated into an evil bat. At this time, the seriously injured Batman was also experiencing such despair. Being mocked unscrupulously by Superman from a high position, he was isolated and helpless with only wailing souls behind him. In such a desperate situation, Bruce Wayne once again chose to embrace the darkness. He wanted to kill the evil Superman in front of him. In order to do this, he could sacrifice everything, even his own life and humanity. Batman, with such a belief, finally made the final decision. While Superman was laughing at him, Bruce secretly activated the anti-Superman plan on the Bat Belt. Inject the Doomsday virus. I'm tired of playing the good guy anymore, Superman said in a low voice. Those fools who see me as their savior, who do they think is standing before them? A superhero? No, Standing before them was God. A God they need to kneel down and worship. Superman said, with a red light flashing in his eyes. But just when he was about to kill Batman, Batman laughed. Do you think you are a god? You are just a poor alien who came to Blue Planet to seek refuge because his hometown was bombed. As the voice fell, the Doomsday virus spread rapidly in Batman's body. His flesh was seen expanding rapidly at a speed visible to the naked eye. The arm cut off by Superman grew again. The bones spread outside the body to form an indestructible exoskeleton. Spikes grew on the spine, and his hands were replaced by sharp finger bones. Batman quickly expanded to 3 meters tall and completely transformed into a hideous and terrifying giant alien monster. Superman had no time to react. The next second he was smashed into the ground. Doomsday Batman pinched Superman's head with his huge palm. It was like playing with a toy, colliding fiercely with the ground. Superman roared, and scarlet beams shot out of his eyes. The power of this beam can easily tear a skyscraper in half. But at this moment, it can't hurt Doomsday Batman at all. Now, do you still think you are a god? Facing the ridicule of Batman Doomsday, Superman's face was grim. He tried to freeze Doomsday with his cold breath. But as soon as he opened his mouth, he was hit hard on the jaw by Batman Doomsday. Superman tried to use his super strength to fight against Batman Doomsday. However, he was horrified to find that he couldn't even break free from Batman Doomsday's palm. Superman panicked, completely panicked. He tried to fly high into the sky and escape from this terrifying monster far away. However, he was grabbed by the ankle by Batman Doomsday after flying less than 4 meters. Then, he was smashed to the ground. Superman looked ugly and wanted to continue to resist, but Batman Doomsday did not give him any chance. He opened his bloody mouth and spewed out a stream of kryptonite gas. Superman, wrapped in the gas, the man completely lost the ability to resist. The next second, a sharp bone spur grew out of Doomsday's wrist. The bone spur pierced Superman's chest fiercely. In Superman's horrified eyes, it pierced through. The blood dyed the entire spike red. The Doomsday virus on the spike spread madly throughout Superman's body. Superman let out a heart-wrenching roar. However, it was too late. The spikes condensed by the Doomsday virus eventually spread throughout Superman's body. Countless spikes drilled out of his body like bamboo shoots. Superman's face still showed an incredible look before he died. But everything is over. Superman's body was nailed to the ground. Like a butterfly specimen, staring, maintaining the posture and expression of the second before death. In the real world, in the Batcave of Gotham City, the pupils of the members of the Justice League who witnessed everything trembled, and a chill surged into their hearts. Batman, the flesh and blood Batman. In order to prevent these superhumans from losing control, they always formulate all kinds of strange countermeasures. And the Dark Bat in the video is particularly crazy. In order to defeat Superman, he actually turned Doomsday into a virus and injected it into his body. Mr. Bruce, are you also developing this virus now? To prevent Superman from losing control. Barry couldn't help asking. The other members of the Justice League turned their heads to look at Batman. Batman sighed and then nodded. He did not hide his plan from everyone and said directly, I did have that thought, but I gave up. Compared to Clark's loss of control, I think the Doomsday virus is much more harmful to the world. So I terminated the experiment and destroyed all the data. After the voice fell, everyone in the Justice League secretly breathed a sigh of relief. A biological virus weapon that can kill Superman can also pose a fatal threat to others. If such a weapon really exists, it would be a very scary thing. Actually, I am more worried about one thing now, Batman continued. The light screen in the sky is broadcast to the whole world. We cannot be sure that there are madmen who would imitate the behavior of evil bats to create some terrifying existence. As soon as these words came out, the faces of the people in the Justice League changed slightly. My mother, Queen Hippolyta, also has such concerns. Diana frowned. So one of the purposes of coming here this time is to discuss with you the plan to deal with the evil bats. Even if the crisis on the light screen will not happen in the future, it cannot guarantee that the world will not have a terrifying existence like the Red Death. I have enough speedster villains to deal with. Barry sighed. I hope there won't be another Red Death. Fighting against such an enemy is a headache. At this time, the members of the Justice League did not know that what they were worried about was gradually becoming a reality. In the chairman's office of the Lex Corporation building in Metropolis, Luthor became very interested in Batman injecting the Doomsday virus to kill Superman. If I can master this power, Superman will no longer be a threat. Lex Luthor stared at the light screen with burning eyes. I will evolve, and I will lead mankind to become the most powerful species in the universe. Although Luthor was quite excited at this time, he still suppressed the surging emotions in his heart. Because the story of Doomsday Batman is not over yet. Batman Doom calls himself the Ravager. When he was walking alone in the ruined city, the Batman with a mouth came again. The Ravager regarded this guy with a clown-like laugh as an enemy. He strangled the laughing Batman's neck and was about to break his neck in the next second. Hey man, don't you recognize me? The laughing Bat reminded the Ravager with a wild laugh. I am your best friend. If you don't remember me, I will be very sad. A hint of doubt flashed across the numb pupils of the Destroyer. The pupils reflected the face of the laughing Bat. At this moment, the Destroyer discovered his identity. Let me introduce myself. I am Bruce Wayne from another dark universe. I came here to invite you to join my great expeditionary cause, my Dark Bat Legion. The Destroyer let out a low sigh from his throat. Obviously, he had no interest in joining the faction. Don't be so quick to object, man, I know you hate Superman. But Superman is not completely dead, at least he is still alive and well in another universe. Don't you want to go meet him? Superman, still alive. The Ravager's stiff face showed a trace of doubt. The laughing Bat struck while the iron was hot and continued, not only is he alive, but he is also a beloved superhero. In that world, Superman is the savior in people's minds. Savior, that hypocritical alien. The Ravager showed a hint of anger. Take me to that world, I want to kill him. No matter how many universes there are, I will kill all the Supermen. Only in this way can we save the world and everyone. In this way, the Ravager came to the metropolis of the main universe. At this time, the metropolis was no longer as prosperous and bustling as before. Superman of the main universe disappeared, and the metropolis was in chaos. Various disasters broke out continuously, and the whole metropolis was in panic. The scene changed and came to an elevator. Superman's wife Louise hurriedly walked down the elevator worriedly. She was off work and was going home now. But at this moment, a familiar figure blocked Louise's way. A tall figure, Louise instantly recognized him. Mr. Bruce Wayne, why are you here? Louise looked puzzled. But the next second, Bruce Wayne held Louise's hand tightly and said in a low voice. Where is Superman? You have to take me to him, you have to tell me where he is. The situation is very urgent. But Lois didn't know where Superman Clark had gone. She suddenly felt her hand was wriggling. Looking down, she saw that Bruce Wayne's palm was not a normal person's palm. It was a monster claw covered with rocks and barbs. Lois subconsciously broke free from Bruce's palm. But in the blink of an eye, Bruce Wayne's body suddenly grew and turned into a 3-meter-tall giant alien monster. The Bruce Wayne in front of her was the Ravager from the Dark Universe. Lois screamed in shock. She thought the Ravager would kill her. But at this time, the Ravager just kept repeating in his mouth. Kill Superman and I will save everyone in this world. The only way is to kill Superman. Louise's eyes passed through the Devastator and projected outside the building. On the streets of Metropolis, people seemed to have caught some kind of flu and were coughing like crazy. Then, on their faces, palms, and necks, pieces of hard keratin that looked like corpse spots began to grow rapidly. The bones mutated, piercing the flesh like a screwdriver and becoming part of the skin. At this time, ordinary people in Metropolis were mutating like crazy. In a blink of an eye, their skin was covered by a hard rock surface, and their faces were distorted. They became miniature versions of Doomsday. It was the Doomsday virus. The Devastator released the Doomsday virus in Metropolis. Now, the people in Metropolis were mutating like crazy in pain. In a blink of an eye, there was no normal person on the street. Instead, there were crazy Doomsday monsters. Louise looked at the skin on her palm that was slowly growing spikes. Her face was full of fear. She stumbled out of the building and fled back home. But unfortunately, the Doomsday virus had already spread in her body. Soon, she will also be transformed into a doomsday monster who only knows how to kill. At the same time, Supergirl Kara and her companions also rushed to the scene. The three of them fought against the Devastator without hesitation. The three superheroes tried their best to defeat the Devastator. But they underestimated the Devastator's ability. The Devastator is a combination of Batman and Doomsday, a monster with both combat power and super knowledge. In the real world, the DC main universe, Superman frowned as he watched the battle between the Devastator and Supergirl. He had never expected that the Doomsday version of Batman would go after Lois. This meant that the Devastator in front of him was not just a monster. He also had the ability to think, and he was thinking in the way Batman was thinking. This was the most despairing thing. He had the fighting power of Doomsday plus the calculations of Batman. What a terrifying guy. So the Doomsday virus is spreading through Metropolis like some kind of spores. Hal Jordan crossed his arms. This biological weapon that can turn people into Doomsday is a very difficult matter even for the Green Lantern Corps to deal with. While they were talking, the battle on the screen took a sharp turn. The Devastator defeated Supergirl and the other two superheroes. But he did not kill them. The dark gray spikes quickly spread in Supergirl's body and eventually pierced her skin where the Devastator came into contact with her. Supergirl and others were also infected. The Doomsday virus can not only infect people into alien monsters, but also spread through contact. Such a supernatural ability is hard for the superheroes in the main world to predict. So Mr. Batman, do you have any good suggestions? Superman looked at Bruce Wayne and asked, do you have any ideas to deal with the Ravager? Everyone's eyes were on Batman, as the brain of the Justice League and the spiritual pillar of everyone. At this moment, everyone hoped that Batman could come up with a good response plan. After all, this Ravager could even kill Superman. I don't know, Batman sighed helplessly, I don't know how to deal with this monster. Batman's words made everyone fall into a long silence. For a moment, the whole Batcave was so quiet that you could hear a pin drop. The images on the screen continued to play. After infecting Supergirl and others, no one could stop the Devastator. He occupied Metropolis and transformed most of the people there, whether they were superheroes, supervillains or ordinary people, into Doomsday. So far, the Devastator destroyed Metropolis. And on its ruins, he built the city of Doomsday, which belonged only to him. On the throne, the Devastator looked at the ordinary people below who had turned into Doomsday. He muttered to himself, I finally gave the world the power to save itself, Clark. The Doomsday virus made them stronger, and now they can finally protect themselves. They will never believe your so-called perfect world scam again. In the real-world Batcave, Superman Clark looked at the self-narration of the Destroyer with a complicated expression. This Doomsday version of Batman was completely disappointed with Superman. From a certain perspective, everything he did was just to protect humanity. It was just that the method he adopted was too extreme. Diana sighed. The Destroyer Batman watched his universe being killed by Superman. In order to prevent the tragedy from happening again, he infected all the people in Metropolis with Doomsday. He did this, after all, to prevent the people from getting hurt. It's just that the approach is too extreme. Cyborg nodded in agreement. Yes, extreme Dark Bruce. The story of the Devastator does not end here. In order to swear allegiance to Barbados, the Devastator went to the North Pole to find the cosmic tuning fork placed in the Fortress of Solitude. The Fortress of Solitude is a super fortress built by Superman using Kryptonian technology. The so-called cosmic tuning fork is a cross-dimensional artifact that can connect the multiverse. As long as he can get this artifact, Barbados will have no worries. A full-scale invasion of the main universe. When the Devastator arrived at the poles, another team of superheroes came and tried to stop it. However, they failed. In front of the powerful Devastator, the superheroes were like ants. The Devastator slaughtered this team of superheroes without hesitation. One of them, named Violent Wolf, threw the Devastator directly into the sun. The immortal body instantly turned into ashes under the shining of solar radiation. In the end, the Devastator controlled the cosmic tuning fork. The crisis of the dark multiverse officially began at this moment. Who would have thought that the target of the Destroyer would be Superman's Fortress of Solitude? Lex Luthor looked at the picture on the screen with a solemn expression on his face. The Fortress of Solitude was a shelter built by Superman, and Luthor knew it. He even tried to enter it more than once to obtain information about the Kryptonians. But that building couldn't even be blown up by a nuclear bomb. And it is said that the key to open the Fortress of Solitude is placed on the tundra a few miles away. It weighs hundreds of tons. Only Superman or a superhuman with equal strength can carry this key to open the door of the Fortress of Solitude. Even if Luthor dreams of entering this fortress, he is just a mortal and can't do it anyway. Maybe I should change my mindset. Luthor looked at the gradually dimming light screen and said thoughtfully, Superman is not the only enemy of mankind. Rather than restricting superhuman individuals, it is better to enhance humanity itself. Just like what Batman did on Doomsday, let humans gain the power of Doomsday. When Luthor thought of this, a hint of fanaticism flashed in his eyes. A crazy and terrifying plan was brewing rapidly in his mind. Gotham City, Arkham Asylum. Today is the time for the weekly physical therapy. In the corridor, groups of medical staff walked into the ward. The next second, wailing and laughter rang out in each ward. The medical staff whipped the patients trapped in the bed or chair, hoping to correct their increasingly twisted psychology through physical pain. At this time, the innermost and only windowless room was dark. After an unknown amount of time, a sinister laugh rang out. The Joker withdrew his gaze from the light curtain. The always crazy face became particularly calm at this moment. The calmness did not look like the Joker, but that of a wise man, a poet or even a philosopher. So, this is a unique farce. Batman turned into a monster to kill Superman. This is not like the Batboy I know. The laughing bat is just an incompetent and poor imitator. Does he really think he is a clown? His madness is like a ghost asking for candy on Halloween, trying his best to scare the other party. But in fact, he is just a poor guy who lacks a sense of identity. Bang! While they were whispering, the door of the ward opened. 3 sturdy men in white nursing uniforms walked in. One of the nurses with a scar on the corner of his mouth looked at Clown with a grim smile. Mr. Clown, this week's physical therapy is about to begin. Are you looking forward to it? I made a bet with someone this time. I want to hear you begging for mercy and screaming when I hit you 100 times. Last time I hit you 80 times and you didn't say anything, it cost me a lot of money. The clown looked at the scarred man calmly until he walked up to the clown and leaned over to put the shackles on him. Mr. Brad, can I have a word with you in private? The Joker looked at Scarmouth and said casually. Scarmouth, that is, Brad, frowned slightly. How do you know my real name? In Arkham Asylum, it is not a good thing to be known by a madman. Especially when the madman is the Joker. The Joker showed a sly smile. Come closer to me, Mr. Brad. I think you should be very interested in this news. Everyone is curious, and Brad is facing a charismatic villain in Gotham City. So he slowly lowered his body and put his ear close. The Joker opened his mouth and whispered in Brad's ear in a voice that only he could hear. For a long time, the other 2 caregivers were a little impatient. Hey, what did the clown tell you? What good words can this madman say? Stop wasting time and get to work. I'll be off work when you're done. Hey, did you hear that? One of the male nurses impatiently pulled Brad up. I'm talking to you, are you deaf? However, when Brad's face was exposed to the 2 nurses, the nurses stopped talking instantly. Because Brad seemed to have suffered a huge blow at this time. His face was covered with sweat, and his face was as pale as a dead pig soaked in seawater. His pupils kept expanding and contracting, as if he had experienced some unpredictable mental pressure. Hey man, a nurse couldn't help but ask, what's wrong with you? Are you okay, bro? Brad did not answer their questions. He lowered his head and grabbed a baseball bat on the medical cart. The next second, a scene that stunned everyone appeared. Brad's face quickly became full of madness. Then, he hit a caregiver on the head with the baseball bat. The caregiver widened his eyes with disbelief. But he had no time to react to what happened. Brad raised the bat covered with brain matter and swung it a second and third time until the caregiver's skull was completely dented. Until a twisted and crazy laugh appeared on Brad's face. The remaining caregiver did not run away at the first time. It was not that he was not afraid, but that he was scared silly. His legs seemed to have lost their intuition, and he stood motionless at the door. His mouth was slightly open, and his whole body was shaking violently. when he finally came to his senses and wanted to leave this horrible ward. Brad had already picked up the bloody bat full of white and red blocks. The next second, the bat hit his side face. The force was so great that his eyeball was bulged out halfway. Madness is an art, and I am the art itself. When Brad untied the shackles of the Joker indifferently, the Joker raised his hands and slowly stood up from his seat like an emperor attending court. The evil temperament burst out from his body. The underground emperor of Gotham City, the Joker, he is back. The lunatics in other wards seemed to have sensed something and stood at the door of the ward. They laughed heartily and made shrill screams. The criminals beat the door rhythmically with their palms. Bang, 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 bang. The rhythm of a tsunami swept across the entire Arkham Asylum. When the guards of the asylum tried to suppress this sudden riot, it was too late. The lunatics in the entire asylum escaped from prison, killed the guards, and killed all the medical staff. Scarecrow, Riddler, Two-Face, Deadshot, Captain Cold. Even Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy, who were just arrested, were released after serving their sentences. The Joker, the King of Chaos, is about to return to Gotham Metropolis, inside the Hilco Cafe. In the video lottery, Lin Mo won the infinite regeneration ability of the violent wolf Rob. The 7 evil bats has ended. At this time, the cafe was filled with discussions about the light curtain. Some people were discussing which of the 7 evil bats was more powerful. Some people were also looking forward to when the general attack would take place. The origin story of the 7 bats is over, and the next step should be the multiverse war. Lin Mo sat on a chair in the corner of the cafe and turned on the video delivery system unnoticed. Next is the time for tomorrow's video preview. The next second after the delivery button was pressed, a new picture appeared on the light curtain in the air again. The 7 evil bats have all arrived in the main universe and launched a fierce attack on the superheroes of Blue Star. The crisis of the main universe has come, but the Batman and Superman of the main universe have lost their traces. Stay tuned for Dark Multiverse Issue 5, the prologue to the Dark Knight's Metal event. The War of Planes came to the Lord, and the superheroes were defeated. Facing the crazy dark Bat Rider, what should the superheroes do? In the preview, a strange tower made up of hundreds of thousands of humans stands outside the Blue Planet. Countless electric currents run through the hostage tower, and the whole land is filled with grief and misery. A red and blue figure can be vaguely seen in one corner of the strange tower. The real world, the DC main universe. People from all over the world looked at the indescribable human tower, and an inexplicable fear arose in their hearts. The weird tower was obviously the masterpiece of the Dark Knights. This group of lunatics wanted to do all kinds of cruel things to the main universe. Luthor, who was in Metropolis at this time, the Joker who had just left Arkham, and even the Penguin. A series of villains, all looked at the preview screen expressionlessly. Some were terrified, and some were fanatical. In Star City, the Green Arrow and Supergirl in Sinner City were also staring at the light curtain. In the upcoming full-scale battlefield, I don't know what kind of role each of them will play. At the same time in the Batcave, when the light curtain appeared, the people of the Justice League gathered together again. I think we should stay here for now, suggested Aquaman Arthur. We'll make plans after we've discussed how to defeat the 7 evil bats. I agree with Arthur. Diana nodded. We haven't discussed tactics together for a long time. At least we have to wait until the Dark Knight's Metal series of videos are finished, Cyborg continued. Maybe we could go grab a drink somewhere and watch it, Hal Jordan suggested. I don't think there's a place in Gotham for you to drink tea. Alfred dragged the drinks to the superheroes one by one. Be careful that some unknown villain will poison you to death. You have to come to our metropolis for tea, Superman said with a smile. There's a good cafe downstairs. Louise and I often go there for afternoon tea. What's it called? Oh yeah, it's the Silk Cafe. The wealthy Bruce can even reserve drinks and private rooms in advance. The atmosphere in the Batcave became lively at some point. Even Bruce, who was always deep, showed a relaxed expression during the conversation with his companions. There is nothing more joyful than a group of like-minded people getting together. For the next whole day, the members of the Justice League discussed the situation of the evil bats. They needed to make a careful plan to prevent the possible invasion of evil bats. Nothing happened overnight, and the new day came normally. Outside the Silk Coffee shop, there was an endless stream of customers queuing up to buy coffee. Since Lin Mo came to this cafe and became a barista here, the business of the shop has obviously improved a lot. After all, Lin Mo's process of making coffee is very simple. It is not about grinding the coffee beans in a blender. Instead, it is about blending caffeine, sugars and water molecules directly at the molecular level. The coffee made in this way has a rich taste and is full of fragrance. It is very popular among office workers. In just one day, many people came here to try it. Lin Mo's coffee making skills have gradually become famous among these office workers. The store manager, Ms. Catherine, was also very happy to see such a hot business. Her eyes became tender when she looked at Lin Mo. It was as if she was looking at a big baby. It was 10 o'clock in the morning. After sending off the largest wave of customers, Lin Mo took a break from his busy schedule to start broadcasting videos. This time, it was no longer the origin of the evil bat. It was the main film of the metal event. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.